Hello friends, welcome to Unacademy, and this is a course on cell, and that is the fundamental unit of life, and this course is presented by me, Shashank Kumar Rajak. Here is a brief information about me. I am a student of civil engineering at IIT Kharagpur, and I like meditation, cooking, and writing articles on current affairs in my free time. You can follow me on Unacademy and watch more such interesting and awesome courses. And please like, share, rate, and review the course and do provide your feedbacks. So let us begin with the first lesson of our course. And here we are going to learn a basic introduction to the fundamental unit of life. Okay, what is the meaning of cell? How it was derived? Okay, how it was discovered? We will see all these things. So, friends, basically we see different life forms around us. Okay, earth is the only planet where life exists, and this life exists in a diverse form. Okay, such as microscopic organisms to plants, animals, and blue whales. Okay, life exists as microscopic organism also, and life is also present in plants. Okay, and it is also present in the largest organism, that is blue whale. Okay, the big organism. Then it also exists in animals, human beings. uh, the funda is that there is a diversity of life forms. Okay, there are different types of living organisms living on the planet earth. But what are these living organisms made up of? Okay, what is the simplest unit of life? Okay, so this organism has evolved from any certain type of small species. And what is that small unit or smallest unit of life from which this blue whale has evolved? Okay, we are trying to find that. So what is the simplest unit of life which give rise to different living organism? What is that simplest unit from which life emerges? Okay, so that simplest unit of life is called cell. Okay, all the living organisms are made up of small structures which are called cells. Okay, if we divide our body into smaller and smaller units, then the smallest unit which we will find, okay, inside our body, which has life, so that smallest unit will be called cell. Okay, all the living organisms where life exists, all the living organisms are made up of small structures, and those small structures are called cells. Okay, thus we can say that cells are the fundamental building blocks of our body and all other living organisms. Okay, because any living organism is made up of these small units, so these small units are called fundamental building blocks of living organisms. For example, if this is a human body, okay, so if you will consider the smallest unit of this human body, then you can find that this looks something like this in electron microscope. Okay, the structure of this cell, the smallest unit of this body, will be like this. And within that cell also there will be small organelles. Okay, and this is how the smallest unit of life actually makes the whole of the human body. Okay, this is the smallest unit, and that is why it is called fundamental building block. Then how this cell was discovered? Okay, who was the scientist who discovered it first and who told us about the cell and explained it to the world? So basically, cells were first discovered by Robert Hooke. Please remember this name. Okay, this was a scientist who discovered the cells in 1665. Okay, he examined a thin slice of cork. Cork is basically a material which comes from bark of tree. Okay, if you will take bark of a tree, then the substance which comes from there is cork. And he actually examined this thin slice of cork with the help of a self-designed primitive microscope. Please note that at that time there were no electron microscope to analyze such a smallest unit of life. Okay, such smallest structures. So he actually designed a very primitive microscope. This microscope was designed by himself only, and by with the help of that primitive microscope he examined that thin slice of cork. Okay, and there he observed that the cork resembled the structure of a honeycomb consisting of many little compartments, and these little compartments were called cells by him. He named these little compartments as cells. Cell basically means a little room in Latin language. Okay, so cell is a Latin word which means a little room, and since uh, Robert Hooke observed that this cork is actually made up of these small compartments, so which resembled the honeycomb structure. So he called these small compartments as little room, that is cell in Latin. So we are still using the same term, that is cell, for describing these small units of life. So this is how the discovery of cell occurred, okay? And the scientist Robert Hooke in 1665 enlightened us about the cell, that is the smallest unit of life, okay? Then there are classification of organisms based on the number of cells present in their body, okay? Because we know that there is a diversity of life forms, okay? There are a variety of living organisms living on the earth, so we can classify them as unicellular organism and multicellular organism. So let us see what is unicellular organism. There are various organisms which consists of only one cell, okay? In their body there will be only one cell, okay? These are very microscopic organism which contain only one cell in their body, okay? So they are called unicellular organism, and these organisms containing only one cell are called unicellular organisms. Uni means single, that is why unicellular, okay? Because they have only one cell. For example, amoeba is a unicellular organism, okay? This is a very famous example. This is how an amoeba looks like, okay? Its body is a one cell, okay? Its body contains only one cell. This is actually what you are seeing here is one cell of amoeba, okay? Then paramecium and bacteria, protozoa, yeast, chemidomonas, etc. These are all examples of unicellular organisms, which means that these organisms contain only one cell. Then in unicellular organism, all the biological activities are actually performed by the single cell. Like we human beings perform different activities. We have hands, okay? We have legs for walking, we have nose for breathing, okay? So there are different organs in our body for performing different tasks. But in an amoeba or any other unicellular organisms, all the essential tasks which are required for the survival, they are performed by the one cell only. So this is the characteristic of unicellular organism. Then there are multicellular organism. Obviously multi means many, so it means that multicellular organisms contain a large group of cells, okay? Large group of cells which contain a very huge number of cells. So this is multicellular organisms, and these groups of cells assume different functions in the organism to form various body parts. Like we have hands to perform different activities, we have legs for walking, okay? We have ears, nose, skin. There are different types of organs, different type of activities which our body performs. So based on that, the cells are grouped into different groups, okay? And they assume different functions in the organism to actually form various body parts or organs. And the examples of multicellular organisms are obviously human beings, then plants, animals. These are all multicellular organisms. And please remember that every multicellular organism comes from a single cell, okay? There is a single cell which evolves, which divides further, and then it actually evolves into a multicellular organism. So every multicellular organism comes from a single cell. So this is also an important fact, okay? Then multicellular organisms can also have cells of different kinds depending upon the function that cells perform, okay? So it is not like our body contains only one type of cell, okay? If you would consider the skin, your skin, it would have different type of cells. Or if you would consider your lungs or your heart, okay, or your hands, they will have different types of cells. So different body parts have different types of cell. So how it is decided, okay? So basically the shape and size of cells are related to the specific function they perform, okay? What function a cell is performing, based on that its shape and size is decided, and based on that there is a difference in there is a difference of cell, there is a different variety of cells within our body, okay? And that is why multicellular organism contain a variety of different type of cells. For example, if you will consider human cells, so there is a neuron which is having this type of cells, okay? The cells of neuron look like this. Neuron actually transfer the information in our body. So the nerve cells look like this, okay? Then we have white blood cells, and we have red blood cells. See, red blood cells are red in color, white blood cells look like this. Okay, then muscle cells look like this. So based on the activities or the functions these cells are performing, they can have different shape and size, and as a result our body or any multicellular organism has different type of cells, not only single type of cell. Okay, then functioning of a cell, how a cell performs. Okay, so basically the cells have the capacity to perform basic function which are characteristic of all living forms. How do they perform these functions? Okay, so basically there is a division of labor within a cell. So for example, if a this is how a cell looks like. Okay, there are different organelles within the cell which we will discuss in our upcoming lesson. So basically there is a division of labor within a cell. Okay, each cell contains certain specific components within it which are known as cell organelles. So these components which you are seeing, these colorful components inside the cell, these are called cell organelles, and they actually assume different functions within the cell. See, within the cell also there is different function going on. Like our body has different organs for performing different functions. The same way a single cell also contains different organelles, okay, to perform different functions, because a cell might be a very small, okay, very small, but it performs very a number of functions. Okay, and that is why there is a division of labor. There are different organs which perform different functions. That is why we are saying that there is a division of labor within a cell, and each kind of cell organ perform different function within the cell, and these cell organelles together constitute the basic unit of life called cell. They together perform different activities, and then together they make this complete cell. And all cells contain the same cell organelles irrespective of their functions or type. So it doesn't matter that which function they are performing or which type of cell it is. Okay, all the cells will contain the same cell organelles. So a red blood cell would have the same type of cell organelles as the white blood cell contains. Okay, so different type of cells contain the same cell organelles, means the same components inside them. So this is how a cell functions. Okay, so we have seen that the cell is the fundamental building block of all living organisms, because it is the smallest unit of any living organism, and it is the smallest unit of life which performs various biological and chemical functions which supports the life. Okay, so we can say that cells can be called as the structural and functional unit of life. Why structural unit? Because it is the smallest unit, the fundamental building block of any living organism, and also the functional unit of life because they are the smallest unit of life which performs very basic and very crucial functions because of which we are surviving. So we can say that cells can be called as the structural and functional unit of life. Okay, so and almost every cell possesses three key features which are responsible for different activities inside the cell and its interaction with the surrounding medium, and these are plasma membrane, nucleus and cytoplasm. These are the three features which almost every cell contains: plasma membrane, nucleus and cytoplasm. We will see them one by one in our upcoming lessons. Okay, so this is all for this lesson, friends. Thank you for watching this lesson. Please say, rate and review, and do provide your feedbacks, and if you have any doubts then please post them in the comment section. Thank you once again and have a wonderful and awesome day.